Hi everyone, it's Paolo. I am so excited because we have a special episode and one for the history books because I am going to be talking with former First Daughter and now activist and author Chelsea Clinton, and also the super talented illustrator Alexandra Boiger. You guys, they have this amazing book series called She Persisted, and it's a must-have for every family out there. So I'll see you guys with Chelsea and Alexandra.
Spoonful of Apollo, here we go.
I just want to start by saying from the bottom of my heart, honestly, thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Alexandra, for being a guest on A Spoonful of Apollo. This is a moment for us that this episode will go down in the history book if they don't ban it. But yes, like I'm so grateful to both of you. So thank you.
Thanks for having us. Seriously.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're very happy to be here.
Oh my God, I couldn't even sleep all night. I kept saying, Chelsea Alexandra, they're going to be on our show in 12 hours, 11 hours, 10 hours, and here you are. Okay, so I want to start by saying, She Persisted. You guys, your picture book, the 4 books that are out are just amazing. My hope is that every family who's watching this has these books in their libraries for their kids and for themselves. There's so much to learn, and I thank you both. And I'm gonna start with you, Chelsea. I know you got this idea of She Persisted while you were breastfeeding your son, Aiden, and you were watching C-SPAN. So what?
As one does.
As one does. I mean, you're like multitasking. So what was it in that moment, Chelsea, that gave you the idea to write these books of She Persisted?
Well, thank you, Paolo. The first She Persisted, which is anchored on, 13 American women. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes. Did really emerge from this very specific moment, watching kind of the live hearings around the Senate confirmation of Jeff Sessions, who Donald Trump had nominated to be his first attorney general, and Senator Elizabeth Warren, senator from Massachusetts, attempting to read a letter that had been written more than 30 years before, by the great Coretta Scott King concerning the nomination of Jeff Sessions at the time, to be a federal judge. And in her letter, she outlines his quite painfully racist past, and ultimately his nomination had been withdrawn in 1986 because Republicans at the time, kind of in the Reagan administration and on the Hill, had decided, you know what, like, either he is too racist, or at least it's not worth the fight about whether he's too racist. Kind of fast forward, I think understandably, Senator Warren thought that letter should also be considered, as well as importantly, kind of all the facts that it contained. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell did not agree, and his overwhelmingly white male Republican colleagues did not agree, and they forcibly censured her. They kind of prevented her from speaking. And I was just so aghast watching all of this, although I was also very proud that she promptly walked outside the Senate chamber and read the letter kind of on, live television and on Facebook Live, and I'm sure many other platforms as well. And just was thinking kind of in that moment, and then particularly when Mitch McConnell kind of cast himself as the victim and said, we tried to get her to be quiet. She just wouldn't be quiet. We told her she had to stop talking, and yet, nevertheless, she persisted. And even before he said that, I just was thinking, oh my gosh, how often we've needed women like Senator Warren and also Coretta Scott King to help try to hold the line on progress and help advance us forward. And then after kind of Mitch McConnell thinking this moment was about him, I just thought, oh gosh, we need more women's stories in more places, told by women, but also for women, for men, for girls, for boys, to try to help prevent any parts of this moment ever happening again. Yeah. So I just thought, as a parent, what can I do? And then as a writer, what can I do? And then I thought, well, I should be part of the kind of a very small part of the solution toward trying to help us not need to have a moment like this in the future. And I'm going to share stories that meant a lot to me. Hope they're going to mean even a little bit to young readers today. And I knew I wanted to do that kind of in picture book form. And could not have imagined a better partner than Alexandra. She was the first person that I asked to work on this. And I was just so happy that thankfully she said yes.
I'm thankful she said yes too. I just want to say, I love it, Chelsea, how you took something that Senator Mitch McConnell said, and something that was so cool, and you turned it around and did this. It's just amazing what you did. It's an inspiring thing to watch and listen. And I do love that, Alexandra, you're a part of this. Alexandra, when Chelsea and her editor Jill approached you, what was going in through your mind, and where were you when you got this life-changing phone call? I was just wondering.
There's really a little bit more to this, because I think everybody can remember the atmosphere in this country at the time when all of this actually happened. So there was a lot of righteous anger in the air in general. And I remember before I got the call, I remember having a very clear conversation with my agent, Marsha Wernick, my wonderful agent, Marsha Wernick, about wanting to work on books that really are part of changing something, that are really important. Now, I will say, I think that every story is important. Is it a big story? Is it small? It doesn't matter. There's something in it that is really important. And if it's just that wonderful, lovely evening that you have with your kid in bed when you're reading it. But I wanted to work on something really big that meant something, because I was so captured. I was watching C-SPAN at the time too. I was such a news junkie, not good for my mind. I actually stopped out all of that, but I was at the time. So after that conversation with my agent, Marsha, maybe you want to believe in coincidences. Maybe there is more to it. I believe there is more to it. I received, it wasn't a call, it was an email. So I'm in California, Marsha is in New York. It's the 3-hour difference. And I usually go on a morning walk. And Marsha knows this. So I received this email from her, can you call me back? And I remember, la-di-da. Well, she kind of knows it in the morning. Marsha, can I call you back later? And she immediately emailed me back, no, really, I need to talk to you now. I knew something was up in the air, clearly. So, yeah, I spoke with her.
Wow.
And I do remember where I was sitting. I do remember, because this is literally burned into my brain like a movie.
Yeah, yes.
It was the dinner table, the sun was coming in. I had this conversation with Marsha about this project coming in, but I was still, I knew it's important, but what is it then? What is it then? And so I'm asking, so Marsha, who is the writer? And then she says, it's Chelsea Clinton. And this was really one of those moments where, to me, it felt like the sun was coming in. I was sitting already, so that was good. My pencil was falling out of my hand, slowing down everything. And I was sitting like, what? And then what this meant became so much bigger, because the impact, it was clear from the get-go that this book is important. That's something really important that can touch many, many people, that will speak to many, many people. It really did speak to me. But once I knew that Chelsea was the writer, I mean, it was just out of this world. It was an out of this world moment because of the importance of this project and how big it would potentially become because of that.
It's really amazing because I know, and Chelsea knows this too, I know that she was a big fan of when you did Tallulah Ballerina, all those beautiful illustrations. I know that caught her eye. You just have a gift. And you guys, like even on Amazon, it has like 5 stars, thousands and thousands of reviews, all positive from moms and children. And one review that really stuck out to me was this girl, this was when it first came out in 2017. She Persisted, 13 American woman who changed the world. This picture over here, she's 4 years old and she's sleeping with your book. And I was just wondering, today she would be 10 years old, but what has the feedback been from your readers saying, wow, like your book reminding me to get out there and not be afraid, for me to get out there and fight for my rights? Like, have you guys heard from your readers and how this has inspired them?
Oh my gosh, yes, Paolo, so much, from readers at events, readers on social media, but also, people who just come up to me, when I'm walking down the street or in an airport, who share how much the stories have meant to them or meant to their children. Really, though, also what has been powerful to me, while admittedly overwhelmingly, at our She Persisted events or the readers who come up to me in other contexts, are our young girls or our kind of moms, grandmothers, there also are a lot of boys who come up and say, like, this story really inspired me, or as a father, I knew it was really important to share, these books, with my children. And that has also deep resonance for me, that this book is not only informing and inspiring, hopefully ultimately empowering girls and women. It also, though, is helping boys to not only feel okay, but to feel like it's totally natural to have women role models and to equally be inspired, and empowered by whether it's, Sonia Sotomayor or Maria Tallchief or Helen Keller, as it would be for their sister or their girl classmate. And that, to me, has also been a really not for lack of a better word, cool part of this experience that I hadn't necessarily anticipated.
Wow. I mean, really, your books have reminded me to speak up, to rise up, to dream big. It's just all three of them is a big part of my life. And that's why this book, it's not just for little girls, but it could be for anyone to get out there and fight for your rights and to believe in yourself and not be afraid. For you, Alexandra, I know you've said this in an interview, and it was really beautiful. You said, this gave me the opportunity to just actually really express something that I find is so very important. An artist has a big chance to be an activist. It's true. What was your biggest aha moment for you, Alexandra, when you were doing the illustrations for She Persisted? Did you have an aha moment, or what did you learn from doing all the illustrations that you said, wow, I actually really can do this?
I think that there were many aha moments. I couldn't pinpoint to one. I just know that once I said yes, it was like I'm sitting on a train and I'm just driving now. What was important to me and what I understood, and maybe that is an aha moment, is my career didn't start with the She Persisted books. I had been doing so many books before, and that sort of experience, the sensitivity, the understanding of psychology, the fact that I'm an immigrant, I'm German, my husband is Italian, we both came here to the United States. I have a family back in Germany that by now it's just a family. People are coming from all around the globe. I'm coming from a big family. Being very, very careful with the sensitivities when you're illustrating or writing or whatever it is about a person. Because when you're coming from one country, you may not understand exactly the sensitivity that the person from that other country has for that. And really, all these years, all my background has helped me to create the books as fast as we did, and I think with the level of sensitivity that they really need. You gotta be really careful and powerful at the same time. So maybe that's the biggest. First of all, the aha moment continues to come with every character that I'm working on. The sensitivity, the sensitivity for the subject matter, what these people, where they're coming from, and where they took their courage or whatever it is.
Wow. Chelsea, do you remember the first time you read your book, any of the She Persisted, to your kids, what that moment was like for you as a mother, inspiring your three beautiful kids? You remember what that moment was like? And for your kids to receive this from their mother who wrote these beautiful books. Do you remember that moment?
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, I'm so humbled and nervous and excited, and I'm sure many other emotions too, whenever before bed or on a weekend we're reading a book that I wrote kind of for family story time. And I do remember the first time that I read She Persisted to my kids. Admittedly, my son Aiden was still just a baby, and my daughter Charlotte was maybe 2.5 years old, and they both paid as much attention as a baby and a little kid can pay. But it has really been such a gift now that my daughter is now 8, my son Aiden is 6, and now my little one Jasper is 3, that they have real kind of feedback and engagement, and they have women that they're excited and often have on their own initiative in their school libraries gone on to learn more about, or at least kind of for my older two. And one of the things that I found so just bluntly, endlessly engaging and fun for me was their total fascination with Gladys West, who we kind of write about in She Persisted in Science, who developed the math that has facilitated kind of GPS. And so for my kids, who are so accustomed to all of us having, I don't have one with me right now, but like, a phone in our pockets that effectively also are maps, it just was so almost bewildering to them to know that like when I was their age and I would be going on road trips with my parents, with their grandma and pop, we would get lost. And even though we had really big maps, sometimes we were driving from one part of the map to the other part of the map. You're trying to like unfold these unwieldy maps in the car. We'd have to stop. We'd have to ask for directions. And that truly, like Gladys West and kind of what she created helped ensure that now we all effectively have maps in our pockets. And there isn't maybe the serendipity, but also not the frustration of getting lost. And so, if you had, asked me, Paolo, like which of the figures did I think, my children would be most, galvanized by, I probably would have thought, even just in that most recent book, Rosalind Franklin, because my kids love science. And one of my kids actually had to have an x-ray. And so they're like very interested in kind of anything that can be derived from a photograph. And she used a photograph to really help discover the structure of the DNA double helix, or Jane Goodall. And they're super interested in those amazing women's stories, but it was really Gladys West that captured their imagination. So it's also, Paolo, not only what I watch my children discover, but what I watch them also kind of really kind of find their own curiosity is sparked by. And then just the last thing I'll say, so we can, I know, move on to your next question, is we have the She Persisted chapter book series.
That's right.
Which we're so also thankful to have Alexandra's partnership. And it is really fun because my daughter has read or is on her way certainly to reading all of the ones that are already out. And it's so fun for me, Paolo, when she's like, Mom, did you know? It tells me something that she's learned. I'm like, you know what? I did know. Thank you though for reminding me. And like, Charlotte, why are you so excited about that fact? Like, what about that fact is so energizing to you? And so just really, Paolo, it has been kind of an internal and ongoing gift to be able to share these incredible women's stories, some of which are told kind of through my words, and all of which certainly are all the stronger for Alexandra's beautiful illustrations with my kids.
Oh, what a beautiful full circle moment it is for you and your kids. I love it so much. Alexandra, like when I see Chelsea, like I always knew that she's smart, so beautiful, kind soul. But then when I was watching her and her mom on Gutsy on Apple TV Plus, I was like, okay, there's this fun side of Chelsea and this adventurous side of her. I'm like, and she watches RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm like, hello. For you, Alexandra, what would surprise you the most with working with Chelsea? Like, because we all have our image. We think we know someone just through the television or the media, but you working so closely on these books and with Chelsea, what were you surprised, to know the most about Chelsea? Like, wow, like she's really cool.
Honestly, Chelsea, it's your humility. It's just simply what it is. That I know that when we met the first time, you tried to make me feel comfortable, which I wasn't. Not because of you, but I was nervous. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? And another thing that I noticed very quickly is I very much appreciate your calm demeanor, but you're so forceful in it. There's so much leadership in this calm demeanor, and that's something that I guess surprised me because just love that combination.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yes.
It's so nice. Chelsea, you were 12 years old when you moved into the White House. I know that you were always inspired by the women who surrounded you, especially your mom. And of course, your mom's mom, Grandma Dorothy, who I know you think about every single day. And you were close to all your teachers, especially your first grade teacher, Miss Mitchell. Being surrounded by these brave, amazing woman, did that help you even go further in dreaming big and saying, you know what, if my mom can get to where she is today, and and Miss Mitchell and and your Grandma Dorothy, did it inspire you to say, you know what, I'm gonna do it too. I'm gonna go as far as I can and inspire other people out there?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, to follow, even just, in talking about Mrs. Mitchell, who's now Dr. Mitchell, my grandmother, one of the kind of connecting threads between these two just extraordinary women that I'm so thankful to have had in my life as a young girl. And I'm grateful to still be in touch with Dr. Mitchell today, and also still do feel very much connected to my grandmother, even though sadly she's no longer with us. Is, my grandmother wanted to go to college after high school, but her parents were unwilling, not unable, but unwilling to pay for her to go to college. And so she got a job and she worked as a secretary. And in some ways I can't be begrudging of that, because my grandfather walked in one day to her office and asked for directions. And that's how they met. And so, had she not been there, we would not be here together today. And yeah, she always wanted to go to college. And she did. She went to college like on and off in her 50s and into her 60s. And she went to community college and she took classes. And even when she decided maybe she wouldn't kind of go toward a specific degree, she still kept taking classes because she always wanted to learn, and she always felt like there was more to know. And she always thought that if kind of she knew more, she could do more.
Wow.
And she could be more fully herself. And then, Mrs. Mitchell later, after she had taught me, went back and got her PhD in education. And when she retired, she was the assistant superintendent of Little Rock School District. And so, for me, those stories are also so inspiring, because it says to me, like, you're never too young to make a difference. You're never too old to make a difference, or to kind of chart your path forward in life that feels more kind of authentic to you and to who you hope to be. And so I am so thankful, and I try to be really aware of how important all of these extraordinary women have been to me, and try to be mindful then of how do I connect to young people today, or maybe even not so young people, to try to help support them to be the best versions of themselves and to lead their best life story.
Wow. Well, you're an extraordinary woman, Chelsea. Just seeing you talk and how your parents did such a beautiful job in raising you. That's all I'm going to say. Alexandra, you're welcome. You were born and raised in Munich, Germany. You studied graphic design. You have a beautiful, as you said earlier, beautiful, very talented husband, Andrea. You have a beautiful daughter, Vanessa. You have 6 siblings like me. You're the youngest one. But what was your biggest dream? And did your dream look anything like this when you were studying graphic design?
No, it was not on my mind. It wasn't. I wanted to be an illustrator. That's what I wanted to be.
Wow.
And when I met my husband, he really wanted to come to the United States because his dream was to work for Disney at the time. We met in an animation studio in Munich, so animation already has brought us together. But I came here because we kind of made this happen together. We lived that dream together. And then once I had my daughter, I fell back to what it is that I initially really wanted to do, which was making books, be an illustrator. So did I dream of this? No, but what I did dream of was creating something that will mean something to people. That I will say was part of I wanted to be part of something that will mean really something.
Wow.
Always.
Wow. That's so that's so special. Oh my God. My last question then is going to be this. Chelsea, for your birthday in February, your mom posted this adorable photo of you two riding bike. I was obsessed with this photo. Because when I see these two, she persisted. You guys describe it all. You two remind me of what can be done. But when you look at the two people in this photo, what would you say about how they persisted?
Oh gosh, well, there's so much that inspires me about my mom. Arguably, most of all, that she does persist. There are so many people who have said, Paolo, to me, some version of, gosh, haven't you just wanted to pull the covers over your head? Mm-hmm. Well, what good does that serve? That doesn't serve me any good. It doesn't serve the role model that I hope to be for my children any good. I know that my mom would very much have felt the same way about kind of her for me, or her now for her grandchildren. But also it doesn't serve, the person and the citizen that I want to be, or that I know that she wants to be in the world. And so just the sense of kind of every achievement, and also every setback is the challenge to just do more, right? That we need to be kind of always building on what has worked, or what has turned out as we had hoped that it would, but also to not be permanently defeated by what maybe hasn't worked or hasn't turned out as we had hoped that it would, because there's just always more to do, and there's always more to learn. There's always kind of more people to be in the business of doing and trying to help both bad things not happen, and to protect progress in doing that, and also to build a better world. Like, as kind of cheesy as it sounds, like ultimately, I am the happiest and the most fulfilled when I am lucky enough to be able to do work with people that I respect, that I can learn with and learn from, to do something affirmative and positive in the world. And that certainly is true when I've been lucky enough to work with my mom on Gutsy and in other areas. And certainly is true when I've been lucky enough to work with Alexandra now over a number of really wonderful years through the She Persisted series and more.
Wow. Oh my God. You're gonna
Same here, Chelsea. Same here. Has been the same. Really important to me to say this as well. The chapter books are such a beautiful extension of the She Persisted books. It means to me, it means so much, like it does to Chelsea as well, to just really change an implicit bias about what anybody can do.
Yeah.
Just the first 7 years are really important for the subconscious mind to build up what is your whole belief system about the world, and for little kids to see whoever they are, and that everything is possible, and that they will find their own place in this world, because there are so many ways. You mentioned before, art can be a form of activism, which is so true. If you're an introvert, then that might be your way. If you're an extrovert, you go out on the streets and you demonstrate. So whatever it is, you will find your way. And these books really demonstrate this so very, very well. And I personally want to say a thank you to Gillian Flynn. She is the illustrator of the interior art of all these chapter books. I did all the jackets, important.
Oh, it's so nice. I was obsessed with this picture, Chelsea. So this is what we did. I actually reached out to Alexandra because I said, Alexandra, can you do like your magic and create this and what you do best? And of course, she was so kind and she did. So we're gonna send this to you, Chelsea. But this is what Alexandra created it for you to put.
Oh my gosh! Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, Alexandra, look at that!
It's amazing.
I'm gonna cry. That is amazing.
Yeah.
All thanks to Paulo. He was the one it was your idea.
Okay, but you were gonna, but Alexandra has the original. She's gonna send it to you and your team. We'll make sure you get it. But when we were watching a musical here in Chicago, because that's where we're from in Chicago, and we were watching What's Love Got to Do, the story about Tina Turner. And when we left, Alexandra sent me this email, and when we opened and this came on our email, I literally started to cry. And I wasn't crying for Tina Turner. I was crying for this. I was just like, just a beautiful, amazing, beautiful. So yeah. So that's for you, Chelsea. We'll make sure you get that, okay?
Thank you, Paolo. Thank you, Alexandra.
So and what we want to do for you, Alexandra, because of your magic touch, which was amazing, we are going to donate to a foundation I know is very near and dear to your heart called I Stand With My Pack. We're going to donate $500, okay? It's an amazing female-run nonprofit organization that works to remove dogs from high-risk shelters in LA and LA County to find them forever homes. And it's a beautiful thing, and so we're going to do that in honor of you, Alexandra, okay?
You, Paulo. I love this so much.
Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. I got one more surprise, but I want to say I'm so sorry for the loss of your dog, Chelsea, because, we get it. And a dog...
15 and a half years. It's been a little over a month, and we just had Easter and Passover. We celebrate both in our house.
Beautiful.
And our 3.5-year-old, so Jasper is 3.5. He just keeps saying, well, where is Soren? Like, why is Soren not here for Easter? I say, oh, sweetheart, sadly, Soren died. We believe Soren's in heaven. She's not coming back. And he said, well, she could come back for Easter. I'm like, oh, sweetheart, sadly, she can't come back from Easter. But, like, she's always in our hearts. Like, she's always in our hearts.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, my God, I love you all so much. Okay, so because I love your book so much, what we wanted to do is we wanted to donate 42 books, because we love that number, Chelsea, 42. Not
you, Paolo.
45. We love 42. Okay, we love the number 42. And we are going to donate. Okay, here we go. 42 of your books, you guys. She Persisted.
Oh my gosh.
Here they are. All of that. To Open Books here in Chicago. It's a nonprofit that provides literacy experiences for tens of thousands of readers each year. Each week they deliver thousands of books to schools and nonprofits in Chicago. They've given away more than 1.3 million books. So your books will be a part of it. And I can't wait till these books get into the hands of the little boys and little girls because of what you both have created. And it's just amazing, amazing, amazing.
Oh wow! Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, seriously. And I know Open Books. They're wonderful. They really are.
Yeah.
And thank you to Patrick. You're off screen now.
Look, he's gonna come back in here. He's wearing his famous shirt that he bought when it all happened. That's his famous shirt. See? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
You wear it well, Patrick.
you all just made his day. I just have to say, to end this, I want to say thank you to the both of you because in this crazy time that we're in with so much hatred and what is happening in this world, there's so much good, and the good starts with you two and what you created. And I know I speak for me as a gay man. I say thank you. Thank you for being so open. Thank you for being so honest in this crazy time that we're all, sometimes we get really scared, you know? So your books give us hope, gives hope to little boys and girls out there. And from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Alexandra. It is an honor, and I love you both so much.
Thank you so much, Paolo. It's been a wonderful time together. Thank you so much.
Oh my God. Okay, we'll have coffee when I come. We'll all have coffee. We'll get together. Don't worry.
Yes.
Just contact my husband. We'll set it up. Just kidding. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you both very much, and enjoy your day. Okay.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care,
you, Chelsea.
Patrick. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.